The third and final piece to a credible sustainability strategy is performance metrics. The first step, policy, sets the tone. The second step, programs and activities, brings that policy to life. And the third step, performance metrics, demonstrates proof of sustainability progress. The key thing for sustainability performance metrics is that it's where the rubber meets the road. It shows a couple of different things. First, it shows that you are actually taking the time to track and measure your progress and hopefully report on it as well. But it also helps ensure that you are making good sustainability investments in those programs and activities that you choose to do. If you don't have performance metrics, if you're just initiating sustainability programs here and there, it's going to be very easy to spin your wheels, to not really make the progress that you want. We have a common saying in sustainability, what gets measured gets managed. And so it's really important to actually measure the stuff that you're doing so that you're able to communicate to internal and to external stakeholders, whether or not you really are getting closer to that sustainability commitment and that sustainability vision that you set out in step one. So what kind of data works best when you talk about sustainability disclosure? Well, the Global Reporting Initiative, or GRI, is a fantastic resource. It's an international organization that puts out sustainability reporting guidelines. These are the gold standard of sustainability reports that use the GRI guidelines. They're currently in their third iteration, preparing to go into a fourth iteration. There's about 90 different performance indicators, all voluntary, but it's a great list to start if you're thinking about what types of sustainability data might you want to track and report on. So I highly recommend that you start with the Global Reporting Initiative as a great place to just get an idea of the breadth and depth of sustainability indicators that people are expecting to see. The second thing is that there are going to be some industry-specific elements that are really targeted just at your operating model or just at your particular type of product or service. In some cases, there are sector supplements available. In fact, the Global Reporting Initiative has a handful of sector supplements for the automotive industry, for food service, for telecommunications, for healthcare that are out there and available. That add an additional handful of indicators that are specifically targeted at your industry. There may also be other ones that you need to be aware of if there is not a sector supplement put out by an independent organization. So if you are in an industry or a sector where there is not formal guidance, it may be helpful to look at peers and see what they're reporting on and tracking. It may also be helpful to go back to your industry associations and ask, what are they seeing as the key sustainability indicators? Don't just get stuck doing the handful of ones that apply to all companies. Make sure you're making it relevant to your own organization. Carbon Disclosure Project is another one that's sort of an up-and-coming form of disclosure. It's a public, voluntary initiative that asks a series of questions about qualitative carbon risks and opportunities, as well as quantitative questions about your greenhouse gas emissions. It's a really great resource. Even if you choose not to report publicly, the questionnaire is publicly available and is a really fantastic way to get your organization thinking, even just in those internal discussions about what does climate change and what potential impact might it have on our organization. Finally, I just want to mention just a quick word about stakeholder expectations. You may not be in an industry where you're expected to do a full-on sustainability report, or you may be in an industry or of a size that you're facing a lot of pressure to increase the amount of sustainability disclosure that you have and the type of performance metrics that you're using. And so it's very helpful to do a stakeholder mapping exercise, which would be considered a sustainability program, to help you understand what different stakeholders are expecting in terms of performance metrics. What level of depth do they want? Are there particular issues that they really care about? Oftentimes we look at performance metrics on an adjusted basis. So it's not just total amount of greenhouse gases emitted over a year, but greenhouse gases per square foot of operation or per employee hour. There are a number of different ways to adjust for growth. over time, and it's going to be, and the way that you choose to adjust it is going to be based partly on your operations, but partly also on stakeholder expectations of how they want to see that number reported. So do make sure that you are thinking about what your stakeholders want. Stakeholders in this example would be your customers, your end consumers of your product or service. It may also be suppliers or vendors earlier in your value chain. If you're publicly traded, it may be shareholders or investors. If you're smaller, it may be your financiers. Or your private investors, your angel investors, your venture capitalists. So take a broad view of who your stakeholders are and really think through what kind of performance metrics might they like. So just to recap, we've got 3 key elements to a credible sustainability strategy. The first one is a policy, which sets the tone, explains context, and highlights key focus areas. It is your sort of your at a snapshot understanding of what sustainability is for your organization. The second thing is programs. These are the initiatives and activities that bring your policy to life. They form the bulk of your day-to-day sustainability activities. And then the third piece is the performance measurement. This is the foundation upon which everything rests. It's data that backs up your claims and shows progress over time. Without performance metrics, you're likely to face allegations of greenwashing, of saying one thing but maybe doing another. You want to make sure that you've got data to back up the claims that you're making, and so that you have that, again, that credible, robust sustainability strategy. If you'd like to know more about developing a sustainability strategy, check out our website at sustainabilityconsulting.com.